Welcome to Building Great Sales Teams, a show dedicated to making sales teams tick, tick, boom. Great sales teams are not recruited, they are built, block by block. Let's get to work.
All right, guys, so today's episode is a solo episode, and it is the second part of the toolbox when we're talking about sales teams, having staff in general, having a company in general. This is the second part of that toolbox for you guys. Hopefully you get a lot of value from this. It is a very tactical episode, and if you're able to, listen to it at your desk or where you can take some notes, because there's a lot of good products and services in here for you guys. All right, so getting into the thing that if you have a sales organization or you have a sales division that's pretty large, you don't want to deal with, which is HR, right? And so I have not found a good HR solution until probably the last 6 months or so. And I've basically had to be super educated on HR, had to write my own handbooks, which is not fun. You know, obviously you get the templated ones and you modify them for your company. And you use companies like ADP and stuff like that to kind of guide you in that process, but there's not enough hands-on HR work being done to really protect you as a company. And so what we have employed in the last 6 months is a fractional HR company. And the owner of that company is Jeff Brekken, and he owns Iconic HR. And so what we do with them is we pay them as a fractional HR, which is probably half the cost of an actual HR. If you were to go out and hire a seasoned, experienced HR person, you know what I mean, they would probably cost you anywhere from 70 to 80 grand, right? So we're spending about half of that annually on Iconic HR, and they are the platform for our hiring, our onboarding, you know what I mean? So everything goes through there. Our employee handbooks are in there. Our sales contracts are in there. And basically what makes us legit is in there. So if we ever get sued, if we ever get audited, it's all on the platform, and the platform makes sure that we have all of our boxes checked off and that we've done everything properly. If you need to fire someone, they can do it for you. If you need to onboard someone, they can do it for you. They work all the systems on their end with that, and it's very much like it sounds. It's fractional. So they're probably spending, 10 to 15 hours on your stuff a week, but when the shit hits the fan, they're there for you. So it's like insurance on top of that, but it's HR insurance. And so that's the tool that I'm going to recommend for HR. Other than that, you go through Quickbooks, you follow the automations in Quickbooks, HR-wise, and that's the best you can do, but it is not going to protect a company that's doing $500,000 or more. It's just not. You're going to get sued. You're going to be missing stuff. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to do the wrong thing, and that's where the expert advice comes into play. So that's why I'm going to recommend Iconic HR for that. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. So if you're operating a sales team, swag is going to be a big deal on that, right? So you want your guys, again, that visual piece, you want your guys to really, really believe in the logo that they're wearing, right? And so in order for them to do that, you got to give them cool stuff to wear, right? So Richardson 112 hats are like unfindable right now. But some people still have them, but Richardson 112s are the most universal hats that your guys that like the flat bill will wear, you guys that like the tight-fitting curved hats will wear. It's kind of that in-between. It looks good on everybody's head. Richardson 112s. And so one of the companies that I'm doing all my high-volume stuff, all my bigger orders through is Brandmakers. So Brent Skinner owns that company. He's in my Apex network. And hands down, forget about the service, which his service is amazing, right? It's a very custom service. You're emailing back and forth. You're looking at proofs. You're getting exactly what you want, right? You're dealing with people on his end, okay? That service is amazing. It's huge. But his pricing, just nobody can beat it, And but because he does have that level of service and he does have that level of pricing, it's going to take a few more weeks than, say, a local company is going to take. That is like ordering the shirts and then embroidering them right there in-house, you know what I'm saying? He does that too, but he does massive volume. You know, he does work for Google. He does work for Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to, as long as you have 30 days or so for your order, then you're in good shape. I would go through Brandmakers all day. You need something a little faster, logoup.com is good. And they typically have an insane amount of stock because they are a pretty massive website, but their pricing is really expensive. You know what I mean? So you're paying for that time, faster time frame, as well as all the marketing that they do to business owners. You're paying for that too. Brent doesn't have to do that marketing. He's networked across the country with different businesses and stuff like that. So he's not doing a whole lot of online ads like logoup.com is, right? So Richardson 112 hat is probably going to cost me anywhere from $18 to $20 a hat through logoup.com. I think through Brent right now, it's like $8 or $9 a hat with the logo on it. It's insane. He's doing a great job there. And one of the cool things that Brent can do as well is he can do white label, how do I say this, apparel lines. Okay, so to where like the tag on the hat can be your company name. So this is really cool. And of course you customize the build out of the hat and everything. And I would do it exactly like the Richardson 112. But when your salesperson looks at the hat, it's not made by Next Level. It's not made by Richardson. It's not made by Quality, whatever that company is. It's made by Argenta, which is cool as shit. And so I definitely want to recommend Brandmakers for that. They do a great job of that. And then if you're in a pinch and you need whatever the local company's got in stock and you need it in a couple of days, then I would go local after that, right? So, but that's my recommendations for swag. Now, while we're talking about swag, company swag can change a whole culture in a sales organization or a sales team. But the single biggest impact I've had to my culture and then my brand awareness of my company is the custom energy drinks that we did, Argenta Energy. And I'm just going to plug who I did those through real quick so you guys can get them if you need. Now, we did a custom formula. We made these energy drinks for our salespeople. They're anti-inflammatory. They have hydrating properties to them, as well as they have a couple of natural roots in them that help you with focus and that help you with inflammation, like I said earlier. And so it's an all-natural energy drink, and it's supposed to replace Monster and Red Bull that is normally in my offices that I normally pay $3 or $4 a drink for. I'm paying $1 a drink for these Argenta energy drinks, which if you're on YouTube or on video here, get that to focus, but you can see I'm holding up a can that I just drank. And so that's really good for the culture. What other sales organization or solar company or sales division can say they have their own energy drink, which is huge. Now, you're going to spend, on the white label side, you're going to spend probably $1 a can. If you do a custom formula, it's like $1.25 a can. If you're doing 20 to 30,000 cans, right? So you have to multi-tier your execution of that, in which like we're going to leave these 2 cases of these drinks with our new solar customers, so they can hand out to their friends and family and say, hey, my solar company has their own energy drink. It's pretty cool, right? And then I'm also sending these to my Apex relationships. Anybody that asks for them, I'm pretty much sending them a case. And so it's helping me with those relationships. It's helping me with recruiting. Obviously, it's a crazy thing to see a company with their own energy drink. So that's going to be huge there. That's another piece of swag. All right, let's talk a little bit marketing, right? I don't have a whole lot on this. Look, I'm not an agency. I'm not a marketing company. I'm not a lead gen guy. We get our customers through impulse, door-to-door, through B2B, through referrals. That's how we generate customers. So marketing in terms of lead gen is not my forte, right? But I will say that if you're going to do some marketing in your in-home services, I'm going to recommend Dope Marketing. So they do postcard mailers, right? And what's cool is they have this software that you can go in, and let's just say you put in a new roof, you remodeled someone's kitchen, you did new concrete for someone, right? And their address is 103 Main Street. All right, so you can go into this software, and you can plug in 103 Main Street. All right, this is my customer. and you can send postcards to 100 of the homes around 103 Main Street, and basically send them out a postcard and say, hey, we're installing a new kitchen, a new roof, a new solar system at your neighbor's house next week. We just want to say, look out for our trucks. We're supposed to be there. Pardon our dust, pardon our mess, all that good stuff. And so you can do that through Dope Marketing. They have the software tool. It's really cool. It's like $800 a month or $1,000 a month. I think I'm getting a discount because I'm Apex, which I'll come back to later. But it's like $800 to $1,000 a month to have access to that, and then it's like something stupid for the postcards after that. You're not really going to spend a whole lot on that. The money you're spending is for the platform itself, right? So Dope Marketing for that, guys. And then solar specific tool that I like right now is Demand IQ. So Demand IQ works with the Google Sunroof project, right? So if you got a lead coming in from marketing, and for whatever reason these leads are weary of talking to someone or setting an appointment, the next place that you can route them is this custom solar quote tool. And Demand IQ white labels it, so it looks like your website, and then within that is their platform that connects to the Google Sunroof project, and basically they're able to get a custom solar quote for their home on that, but not before they give you their name, email, and number. And then you can take it a step further, and you can set an appointment through that system, which connects to your CRM. They have a connection to Go High Level. It's all very easy. And your lead can set an appointment now and attach their energy bill through that software, and then it goes right into your CRM from there. So it's a really cool program. It's a way for your customers that are kind of shy, I guess you could say at first, to see a quote, see their savings, which as we know in solar, they almost always have savings. See their savings, and it has all the legalities in there. This is an estimation. This is, not your actual proposal, all that good stuff. It prepares them that they need a custom proposal done in person or virtually by a solar specialist. It prepares them for that, but it gives them a ballpark, which is what a lot of people want. They want to understand that piece of it, and it gives them the numbers to do that. And it works like a chat, like a virtual chat, basically. And you can customize the name. Obviously, it's white labeled, and you can customize the picture too. So it could be like if you're an individual seller, it could be your picture, right? And the way that they price out is it's $300 a month, and or I think it's like $30 a lead, something like that, depending on where it's at in the process. So the pricing's really affordable for that. All right, I got a lot more to go here in only like 5 minutes, so I'm going to have to run through these, but screw it. It's my podcast, and if I want to go an hour and 20 minutes, I will. All right, so let's walk through this. Payroll and books. A lot of people ask me, how do you do your payroll? Where do you run your payroll through? And so for me, the best places to do that, when you're starting out, is QuickBooks. When you got some volume under you and you don't want to hire someone to do your payroll, the next best place is ADP. What I like about ADP, their customer service sucks, okay? But they do handle everything for you. You've got 1099 people, they send out the 1099s at the end of the year. You got W-2 people, they send out the W-2s. They take care of your payroll taxes. They do all these things and debit you once a week for them, twice a month, once a month, however you set that up, and you're covered, right? You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about pressing the payroll taxes on QuickBooks. You know what I'm saying? And so this is when you don't have someone in that position to compose the payroll and execute the payroll. And you don't want to do it every week. ADP is where it's at, right? So other than that, I recommend QuickBooks. And then some of the ways that you can execute that payroll, especially with 1099 salespeople, is obviously Cash App or Venmo. If you want it to be more formal, if you want it to be more of a direct deposit, obviously you can use ADP, but that's going to cost you a little more money. One of the most cost-effective ways that I've found is Wells Fargo Direct Pay. So I think Chase has a similar service. Bank of America has a similar service. Basically, you want to ask them, what do y'all have for business accounts that I can pay contractors with? And so with Wells Fargo, it's direct pay. I think it's $25 a month, and then like 25 cents a transaction after that. It's something stupid. You know what I mean? When we were doing when we had 100 plus salespeople, our direct pay was like $300 to $400 a month, which if you know payroll execution is nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so Wells Fargo direct pay for the execution of the payroll. Transitioning back to marketing, because I did just write these down randomly pretty much. Transitioning back to marketing. So a big deal right now is when people Google you, how are you ranked when you come up? You know, and this is a lot more than intense than it used to be back when I first got started. You just laced your website, you would lace your code with, you know, keywords, and you would rank higher, right? Or you paid Google and you'd rank higher. But now it really has become almost a PR play to get high SEO rankings. And so one of the companies that does that for me, for my solar company, is Double X Digital. Jose and Brandon over there are beasts at this. They write articles, and the articles are written by your company, and your company's quoted in them, and they submit them to popular websites for those trades or for those products or for those businesses, right? And then what that does is it creates SEO for your company that gets pushed to Google, and then you move up in rankings based on those articles. And so their service for that is $2,500 a month. You got to commit to a year because it is a long process. And remember, they're writing custom articles for you every week. They're doing a bunch of other stuff that I don't understand and they can explain to you. But I've been consistently moving up in rankings, whether it be in Corpus Christi, in San Antonio, in Houston. When it comes to solar, when people search for like Corpus Christi solar, I think I'm number 13, but I started out as number 33. You know, all these random, you know, individual solar salespeople had their own companies on there. And so it made it really hard to get ranked properly. But I've made a lot of progress there, and I think I've only been doing that with them for 4 or 5 months. So take advantage of that. All right, so another huge tool that I use is VAs. My social media director is a VA. She's based in the Philippines, and she works in the U.S. My social media assistant is a VA. My 2 operation admin assistants that assist Cheyenne, which is my operations director, they are both VA. So I have 4 VAs right now. And some of the ways that you can source VAs is, and okay, let's talk about why. Okay, why would we hire someone from the Philippines? Okay, isn't that slave labor? Aren't we taking advantage of them? When you look at the dollar, the power that the dollar has in the Philippines versus the power that it has here, it's like 5x in the Philippines. So I want you to remember that 5x number, right? And so whenever you hire someone from the Philippines, you're not just hiring an employee and then they're able to feed their family now. We're talking extended families. Like there's VAs in the Philippines that do so well because of the U.S. that they're taking care of 3 generations. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a really cool concept when you think about it. I like that I have a mix. I have W-2 employees U.S.-based, and I have VAs that are Philippines-based. But the quality of education that you're getting from the VA versus a U.S.-based employee is just unmatched, right? And so, you know, all the VAs that I've hired have 4-year degrees, and they're in their specific position that is related to that degree. So it's really cool. And then, so the people that I'm going to recommend in order to source those VAs, and again, these are task-oriented or campaign-oriented positions, right? Social media director, that's something that can completely be done remote, right? I'm not going to recommend it for, you know, appointment setting, for sales. You know, I'm just not. They're not. The people that I've hired are not built for that, right? And their dialect, it does come through over the phone, straight up. It does come through. But they are way better at speaking English. And I fumble my words when I say this. They're way better at speaking English than some of us are at speaking English because they've been educated on it formally, right? And so a couple of the people that I'm going to use for VAs is going to be Sphere Rocket. You know, obviously, Justin Nelson and his group over there, they employ like something like 25,000, or they place like 25,000 VAs monthly, some crazy number like that. They're killing it over there. But that's when you need like, all right, I need to hire 3 VAs a month, you know. For placing specific VAs, I'm going to recommend Double X Digital, Jose and Brandon. They got me my social media director. She's been fantastic. And then I know Chris Kill is making a lot of headway in that market as well. So that's Chris, Kille. You can find him on Facebook. I can't for the life of me remember his company name right now, but I know that he's doing really well in sourcing those VAs for people as well. So one of the tools that you're going to use to pay them is Wise Transfers, and not to be confused with Wise Hire. Wise is basically a payment system that'll charge you a small fee to be able to make payments to the Philippines with U.S. dollars. And I don't know what they do on their end if they convert them to their bank, but it's able to deposit it in their bank over there. So I'm guessing it's a conversion. It converts over to Filipino money. All right, guys, so that's VAs. We're going to move on to accounting at this point. And so, you know, accounting's always been a tough subject for me. I've always done things retroactively. And so when it comes to the tools that I use for accounting, obviously QuickBooks is the foundation. It's going to house all your transactions, your bookkeeping, all that good stuff. And if you're diligent about it, you can easily keep track of your own transactions. You know, I probably have about 20 to 25 a day that come through our operating account. And I could easily go into QuickBooks and knock those out. I've always had someone doing that for me in the past internally. And now I use Easier Accounting. They're out of St. George, Utah. So that's Trevor and Kale. And they have the Real Business Owners podcast. They have the RBO Mastermind. And then they have an accounting firm that is kind of specialized for entrepreneurs like us. And so I love using them for that. Another great option is your tax coach, Barbara. She's in our Apex community as well. And I've heard nothing but good things about her services, although I don't use her personally. And I also had her on the podcast as well a couple of episodes ago. So definitely check that out. It was a great episode, a really tactical episode too for tax consulting. And so understand that with taxes, you get what you pay for. And typically the way it should work is the amount that you pay, you should get back in taxes and some, because you're using someone that knows how to create a strategy and execute that strategy versus your normal CPA, which is going to be reactive to whatever you did the year before. That's when you hire Easier Accounting, when you want to be proactive, right? So definitely recommend that. All right, getting back into the tactical side of things, if you're in home services, one of the apps that I'm going to recommend that you use is the GTR app, Get the Referral. So this app does a couple things for you. Like within the solar community, it is a white labeled app. So we have an Argenta Solar app. And through that Argenta Solar app, we're able to have our customers monitor their solar systems. But this could work for any home services, right? And so they can monitor their accounts, whatever those accounts may be. But more importantly, when they have a referral for you, they go into the Argenta Solar app and they submit that referral through there. And then even more importantly, they get paid for a referral fee through the app. They put their bank account info into the app, and then they get paid that referral fee through the app. It's a really cool system and program, and it white labels. It looks like your app 100%. You're just using the Get the Referral platform. I think we're spending about $600 a month on that, plus how many users we have, and so it'll go up depending on how many users we have. And so as we grow our customer base, so will the pricing for that app grow. But it makes a lot of sense. We're actually developing a whole division based on that app, which is our referral partner division. And that's where we bring on the roofing companies and the realtors and anybody that does home services. And we give them that app, and they're able to put their referrals of their customers in there, and then we take care of them on the solar side. All right, so another tool that I use, this is solar specific for my solar people, is tax depreciation. So typically, on commercial solar systems, you're able to use depreciation to offset some of your taxes of the solar system's depreciation to offset some of your taxes, right? So Drew Horrigan and Jory Mack have a company that they go in and they do tax consulting for residential solar purchasers, and they're able to depreciate the solar system over 5 years and get those customers that return on their taxes. On average, they're getting my customers about $5 or $6 grand over 5 years. This may seem small, but when it comes to solar, this is just one of the differentiators that we have in place. Another one is the GTR app. Another one is, and this is a tool too, whatever charity you want to donate to. So we donate to Champion Shoes every month. And when we donate to Champion Shoes, we include that messaging in our solar presentation, so they understand they're supporting 2 kids getting a brand new pair of shoes that are in need of shoes. And so we include that in our messaging when we close our solar sales. So that is another tool that I hadn't even written down that I just thought of. So the last and incredibly tactical piece that I want to share with you guys, but this is huge. This is like your whole business in a box, okay? I'm going to share my screen here for the people that are watching on YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube, go to my YouTube channel, Building Great Sales Teams, and you can see this too. All right, so this system that I'm showing you guys right now is called 90. 90.io is the tool that I'm explaining to you guys, okay? So within 90.io, you have tasks that you can assign. And so you assign them for the whole team. You can see that all these tasks are assigned to different people on my team, some of them myself, right? So that it's a task management system. The next piece of it is your rocks. All right, so these are company-wide rocks. So for Wayne, his company-wide rock for this quarter is 60 solar installs. That's his target that he's after. For Nika, it's increased followers on all platforms, and there's numbers behind that too. If you go into the notes, you can see the numbers here. For me, it's the RP Referral Partner Division launch. And these are the people that are involved in that, and I need to convert MDU to Referral Partner Division. For Kathy, it's 3 new hires a week. For Cheyenne, it's SOPs on every position and Loom videos to go along with those. So these are the rocks that we're going after this quarter. These are the big targets that we're going after quarterly. So 90.io operates on the EOS system, and that's what a rock is under the EOS system. So, and then going from there, this is where we also run our meetings. So we have weekly meetings with leadership and staff. I have weekly meetings with my social media team. And so you can break your teams into different divisions. So I have social media, I have sales management, operations, leads and staff, and then financial. And different people go to those different meetings, and you can track all those meetings through there. They give you the agenda. You start with good news. You go into headlines. You go into data. You're able to track data through there. I'm not going to show you the data. That's a little company sensitive. Here's probably one of the most important parts next to the accountability chart is the vision tracker. So your vision tracker includes your core values, your core focus, your niche, what makes you different from all these other companies, your 10-year target, your go-to-market strategy, and then 3 uniques about your business, your proven processes, your guarantees, and then it gets into your 3-year target, as well as your 1-year target, which you can see some of my targets there. And then basically it goes through your strengths and your weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats, which is SWOT, right? And this is all housed on this 90 platform. So here's my favorite part, which is the accountability chart. So I'm a very visual person. I talk about these visual tools, graphics, visuals in order to help with competition and stuff like that. Well, in order for me to understand the way my company is flowing, I use this accountability chart. So I'm in the visionary position. Wayne, my VP of sales, my partners in the integrator position. And then we have these leadership positions throughout the company, which is operations manager, that's Cheyenne, VP of Solar, that's Wayne. RPT Director, that's me. Finance is me. And then obviously I have my brand division, which is Building Great Sales Teams podcast, as well as the DM brand. And so when I break out the DM brand, it drops down and it has my social media director, my media manager, and my executive assistant. And then under social media director, she has a social media assistant. So it lays all this out in your accountability chart. You can see it all right in front of you, and it drops down. Under the finance department, I have Cheyenne under there as well, handling commissions. And so what's cool about this is, you know, if I hire another person and I want them to handle commissions, I just swap that seat out with Cheyenne's seat. So under Cheyenne, she's got 2 admins as well, handling things to help her assist in operations, right? And I can keep going on with this, but you get the gist of it. So 90.io is an amazing tool that I use to basically understand the workflows of my company and see it operate as a whole, as well as keep us on track towards our targets and our goals. All right. So last but most importantly, your group, okay? What tools can you use to elevate the group that you're around every day and the people that you hang out with so that you elevate yourself, right? You know, we talk about this in all these podcasts all the time. It all comes back to mindset. And the huge difference makers for me in my mindset have been Apex, and now in the last 6 months or so, Real Business Owners. These are 2 masterminds that I'm a part of. Okay, in Apex, there's 3 levels: Entourage, Entrepreneurs, and Executives. I'm an Executives. That costs me anywhere from 30 to 40 grand a year. And then the Real Business Owner Mastermind is 25 grand a year. They both have their benefits. Apex is, you know, I think over 2,000 strong. So if you need somebody for something, it's in that network. If somebody needs you for something, you're in that network, right? They have a back-end education piece, building your machine, social media, mastery, all kinds of education classes. Ryan Stuman he has Motivation Mondays that he only shares with Apex. And you have access to the events as well. For executives, it's Flying Friday once a month. It's also the live events once a quarter. And then, of course, MDM once a year, which is their $1 million mastermind event. And so Apex is very big. It's very massive. It has an amazing support system in it. You also, at the executive level, you also get a business coach with that. You know, my business coach is Mark Z. He's been huge for me. He's helped me unfuck a lot of shit in my mind as far as my business goes. So the other one, Real Business Owners, that's what Trevor and Kale started. It kind of generated from their podcast, Real Business Owners, and now it's a mastermind that meets once a quarter. What I love about that mastermind is there's only 25 people in it. It's incredibly, incredibly intimate. I have the cell phone numbers of Trevor and Kale if I ever need anything from them. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm not advertising that's what that mastermind does, but that's where I ended up with it, right? I met some amazing people like Brent Knott, Donnie Joseph, in that mastermind. A bunch of other guys that it's going to take me, you know, Dan the Roofing Man, met him in that mastermind, and now I have strong relationships with all those people. And it's incredibly intimate, and everybody is of service. You know, with the bigger groups, it's going to happen. You're going to get people that are pitching you all the time, you know, and it's just not that way in this mastermind. And, you know, I'm fortunate in that I get to bring a lot of value to it because a lot of the guys are service-based businesses, construction, stuff like that, so I get to bring the sales piece to them. So it's been a huge benefit for me and provide value that way. And so your group is the last tool. Those are the 2 things I would recommend. RBO is a lot more exclusive. It's harder to get into. Apex, because they have the different tiers, they kind of audit you as you go up in tiers. If you're in Entourage, it's very open. You have to qualify for entrepreneurs and executives, obviously. But they do get pricier at the top, obviously. So those are some of the best tools. But, you know, the one that's free is you creating your own network of entrepreneurs in your local area, and then you guys elevating each other every day, every time that you meet, conversations, being friends. That's the way to do it right there, as far as your group. And that, in a nutshell, this got so long. It's crazy because it's a solo episode. Like solo episodes don't go an hour and 20 minutes, but this one did. So we're probably going to break it up into 2 40-minute episodes and spread it out a little bit so you don't get all this tactical stuff back to back. But I appreciate you listening in. As always, we have a fee. I always love stealing Andy Frisella's line because it's very true. I don't run ads on this podcast. I don't charge anything to listen to this podcast, like most people don't, right? But I do ask that you, if you haven't yet, please go and leave a 5-star review. And then check me out on social media, txbizdad.com. All my contacts are on there, as well as in any social media. I'm at txbizdad. If you want to see the stuff I shared on my screen on YouTube, that's going to be at the Building Great Sales Teams channel. So you just look up Building Great Sales Teams or Doug Mitchell, and you'll be able to find me there. And I appreciate you guys listening in. You know, we're up to I think it's 700 or 800 downloads a week now. So I want to thank you guys for following and supporting, and just let you know that I'm very grateful for y'all. Y'all have a good one. Let's get building.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Building Great Sales Teams. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. Remember, great sales teams are not recruited. They are built block by block. Until next time.